Hi and Assalamualaikum everyone. We are from Group 4. I'm Jati Sabita and my group members are Muhammad Harif Azwan, Siti Nur Sabita Azam and Nur Saira. The subject we are going to present is Biology of Organism and our lecturer is Madam Nurul Sabita binti Sulaiman. Today we would like to present about deforestation. Table of contents. First, introduction. Second, definition of related terms. Third, discussion. Fourth, conclusion. Fifth, suggestion for improvement or how to control this human impact to biosphere. Sixth, related diagram with the complex explanation.
First, introduction. Deforestation is the clearing of the thinning of the forest by human. Deforestation represents one of the large issues in global land use. The terms of deforestation traditionally are based on the area of forest clearing for human use, including removal of the tree for wood product and for cropland and grazing land. However, even partial logging and accidental fire thin out the tree enough to change the forest structure dramatically. Deforestation happening because forests are often cut off burning to make a way for farming of cattle grazing. Commission logging also contributes to deforestation and forests are cut down for development. Deforestation in developing nations is primarily due to a competitive global economy, where poorer countries sell their natural resources to pay their debt to wealthy countries. The poor in this country also utilize the land for farming and sustain and this pressure continue to increase our population level increase.
Definition of related terms. Deforestation means cutting or clearing of forest over a large area that committed by humans. It can result in the loss of biodiversity, disturbances in the water cycle, damage the natural habitat, and soil erosion. In addition, the activity of removing forests or trees from land areas will be converted to non-forest use. Deforestation can provide pollution to the atmosphere and the extinction of animal habitats that live in forests. The felled tree can be used for human construction. For example, to get wood for house construction and can be used as fuel such as charcoal. The cleared land can be used for housing, agriculture, livestock, and plantation. For the discussion, deforestation occurs for a number of reasons, including farming, with 80% of deforestation resulting from extensive cattle ranching and logging for materials and development. It has been happening for thousands of years. Finland began converting from hunters and gatherers to agriculture-based societies, crops and housing. Deforestation can cause impact to both environment and humans. The loss of trees causes climate change, desertification, soil erosion, flooding, increased greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, and a host of problems for indigenous people.
Environmental impacts of deforestation. The first impact is the loss of habitat. Deforestation can lead to a direct loss of wildlife habitat as well as a general degradation of their habitat. Habitat destruction is the process by which natural habitat is damaged or destroyed to such an extent that it no longer is capable of supporting the species and ecological communities that naturally occur there. It often results in the extinction of species, and as a result of that, the loss of biodiversity could happen. The removal of trees and other types of vegetation reduces available food, shelter, and breeding habitat. Wildlife habitats being fragmented, where native species must live on remaining habitat islands that are surrounded by disturbed land that is being used for agriculture and other uses. Most of habitat loss is because of agriculture. It has done a long time ago when settlers converted the forest into cropland for high price food and biofuel crops. Other than that, forests are also used for land conversion for development like houses, parking lot, and malls. The second environmental impact is increasing of greenhouse gases. The lack of trees allows a greater amount of greenhouse gases to be released into the atmosphere. Healthy forests absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Deforested areas lose that ability and release more carbon. This could lead to climate change, where it happens because forests store a large amount of the world's carbon dioxide. But when deforestation happens, it contributes 15% of global greenhouse emissions. When forest trees are being burned, the carbon that they were storing get released into the atmosphere. Climate change leads to new weather patterns and changing levels of precipitation and temperature fluctuations. Okay. The second diagram shows how climate change is. The next impact is the effect of global water cycle. The trees help control the level of water in the atmosphere by doing the regulate water cycle. In deforested area, there will be less water in the air to be returned to the soil. This will cause the soil to be drier and it will lose the ability to grow crops. Healthy forests release a range of volatile organic compounds that have an overall cooling effect on our climate. But removing forests could eliminate this cooling effect and add to warming instead. The picture shows how the water cycle works. Water cycles happen when water evaporates from the body of water, which happen at the collection down there, and then it will form clouds by the process of condensation, and then it will falls back down to earth by the process of precipitation in the forms of rain, snows, and hail. This process will repeat over and over, making water a renewable resource. Evaporation is not the only way how water enters the atmosphere. The second process, which is called transpiration, is essential to generating new rainfall. As the picture shows, when there is forest, there would be high evapotranspiration. This is because trees pull the water from the ground through their roots, and it will releases the water vapor by the leaves. So there would be high evapotranspiration and it will be cool and wet. On the other hand, when there is no forest, it will lead to strong sensible heat flux. So it will cause the environment be warm and dry. The last environmental impact is soil erosion and flooding. Trees help the land to retain the water and topsoil, which provides the rich nutrients to sustain additional forest life. Without forest, the soil erodes and washes away by heavy rain. After heavy tropical rains fall on cleared forest lands, the runoff carries soil into local creeks and rivers. The rivers carry the eroded soils downstream, causing the hydroelectric projects and irrigation infrastructure lose productivity from siltation, while industrial installations suspend operations due to the lack of water.
Effect of deforestation to human. First, destruction of human life. As large amount of forests are cleared away, allowing exposed human to death and the habitat of species to be destroyed. The indigenous community who live there and depend on the forest to sustain their way of life are also under threat. The loss of forest has an immediate and direct effect on displace our own defenses on what the rainforest produce. We'll never will never know. The government of nation with rainforests in their border often empty to invite indigenous tribes before the as well clearly cutting begin. To number next, interaction between human and wildlife increase. Deforestation usually means that people are climbing area which they haven't probably inhabited. Generally, wildlife interaction with people is negative and can have disastrous consequences for the animal. One of the best examples of the problematic ecosystem with large carnivores are wolves. Wolf, one of the most wild disturbed mammal in the world, where for the country regarded as human worst enemy for hunting people livestock. The conflict got so far what the wolf were instantly hunted down.
3. The spread of life-threatening disease increase. Deforestation has another worrying effect, such as increased the spread of life-threatening disease such as malaria and dengue fever. For a variety of ecological reasons, deforestation can act as incubator for insect-borne disease and other infectious diseases that afflict humans. The Borneo malaria study is the latest growing scientific evidence showing how large-scale deforestation is a major factor in serious human health problems. And there are some of the most serious infectious diseases in the world arising from wildlife and insects in the forest. Mosquitoes are not the only carriers of pathogens from the wild to humans. Bats, primates, and even snails can carry disease, and the dynamics of transmission change for all of these species following deforestation, often creating a greater threat to humans. Effect of deforestation to biodiversity overall. Habitat destruction is single-handedly the largest destroyer of biodiversity. Since forests contain the largest percentage of the terrestrial biodiversity, deforestation is considered the leading cause of biodiversity loss on the planet. As deforestation increases, the number of unique species of plant and animals plummets. This can be seen by increasing rates of extinction across the globe, with extinction rates now higher than at any point in the last 95 million years.
Conclusion. As a conclusion, we will know the definition of deforestation, introduction related to this topic, impact of deforestation on humans, animals, and the environment, suggestions to control deforestation activity, and the diagram above that show deforestation. There are many impacts that occur to humans, animals, and the environment, such as animal habitat will be affected and the lack of oxygen gas produced by green plants if the trees were cut down. We should avoid deforestation activities as it is harmful to our community. We need to recycle the paper so that in the future we didn't have to cut down trees to get more paper.
Suggestion for improvement or how to control this human impact to biosphere. 1. Educate the public on the importance of forest ecosystems, including the service they afford. 2. Strengthen the transparency around land use and commodity source to improve accountability. 3. Communicate your concern about forests to policymakers, companies, and your friends and family. 4. Reduce the consumption of paper such as pretty paper, notebook, napkins, or toilet paper.
Then reduce the waste of paper by using recycled paper product. 5. Engage stakeholders in and around forest areas to determine how conservation efforts can support local livelihoods and help make land use more sustainable. Related diagram with the complete explanation. Annual tree cover loss by dominant driver in Malaysia. In Malaysia, for 2001 to 2019, 95% of tree cover loss occurred in areas where the dominant drivers of loss resulted in deforestation. From the diagram above, we can see that deforestation activities are still ongoing to this day. The records show the number of tree deforestation cases has decreased since 2017, but the number of tree deforestation activities is still in worrying state. Location of tree cover loss in Malaysia. In Malaysia, the top two regions were responsible for 56% of all tree cover loss between 2001 and 2020. Sarawak recorded the highest number of illegal logging cases at 93 cases and 50 other forest offence cases at 31 July 2020. Sabah recorded 37 cases of illegal logging and 3 other forest offences, while 26 cases of illegal logging were recorded in Peninsular Malaysia with 184 other cases of forest offences.
These are the references that we use. That's all from our group. Thank you.